Why don't werewolves play baseball? Well, it's because they hate bats. What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to break down all of the important farms that you should know in the month of September, including the ones that are specific to the Undaunted Celebration event, which is going to go on until the 24th. We're going to talk about the ones that were added in Update 43 that are absolutely cracked with gold rewards, because you're going to be able to farm gold as a brand new player, because everything that we're going to be talking about today doesn't require you to be a specific level, which is perfect for new players who aren't yet 160 but also want to get a good click of gold for themselves. We're also going to break down Seals of Endeavors, how they've been doing that, and kind of go over all the other details and polish that you need to know for this month. There'll be chapters below that you can use to skip around if you need to, or if you already know something. But let's jump into it. And the first one that we're going to talk about today is the easiest, because all you need to do is inside of the Skingrad City, the southern eastern portion right here, inside of the West Weald zone, which is this zone here on the left side of Cyrodiil. You can talk to these 3 daily quest vendors, and they're going to give you a daily quest. Who would have thought? And one will have you kill a world boss, which is easy because everybody is killing these world bosses. One will have you collect ham sandwiches inside of a delve, which is easy because ham sandwiches, they're just on the ground. You just pick them up, bring them back, and you're done. And the third thing is you're just going to complete a glamorized version of the anchors that Molag Bal dropped. These are called Mirrormore incursions. You're just going to do these, and then you're going to be able to turn in these different rewards, and you're going to be getting some stuff that's going to be really cracked for you, because you don't have to be high level to get these rewards. You can essentially farm these repeatables on level 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s. You might only be CP 110. You can still do these very easily and get some rewards that you can sell. Let's break down why that is. But first, a quick tip. You'll notice that this Mirrormore incursion has swords going through it. That means that is the active one. So if you're running around trying to figure out, hey, which Mirrormore incursion is currently up, you want to look for those swords going through it. This also works for other things such as dragons and other world events. If you see that there are swords going through it, that's the active one. And the first reward box is going to give us a script as well, Breaches of the Weald. Let's talk about these very briefly, because these are kind of generic rewards that you're probably going to get a lot. The one, quick sells for 1,000 gold, well, 999. And that's going to give you a decent chunk to sell to a merchant if you don't have that script already, or if you're not interested in using it. Breaches of the Weald, people assume is worthless, but you'll note at the top there that it's in the style of Shardborn, meaning that if you deconstruct it, you're not only getting upgrade materials, but you're also getting potential chance to get the style that comes from this zone. So that's a really notable thing to do. You want to make sure that if you are deconstructing this gear, and you can, and you have the champion points, that you have the green skill line in the champion point system that gives you bonus for deconstruction. But moving along, we have another really juiced rewards box, because this is another 999 gold free sell. But this is where this becomes a great gold method for everybody. You could be level 10, 50, 160, 3000. Shardborn style is just going to give you access to the Shardborn motif. We have the boots right here. This is a sellable item that you can get and sell at any level. It's not level dependent. For example, if you were farming sets, there are some zones that are great to farm sets, or if you were trying to convert your AP to gold, you need to be 160. Getting crafting motif styles, you can do that at any level, and then you can sell them. This is probably worth about 10 to 20,000 gold, but the real draw of doing this method is these praxises. This is a green praxis that's probably worth between 50 and 80,000 gold, which is just overall free value for you to have when you're doing quests. So not only are you getting the XP, the gold for turning in the quest, quick sell value, crafting motifs, you have a chance to get to the Shardborn style, which we actually got in our third rewards box. We got the Obliviate Lacquer, which I probably am not saying correctly. You also get another signature script, which you can use if you don't have it, or you can quick sell it for another 1,000 gold. And then you get another chance to get these more Obliviate Lacquers. So the reason why you want these is that they're a style material. A lot of people don't know this, but the new furnishing plans require you to use these style ingredients. And housing is the true endgame of ESO, so everybody and their mom wants these. So that's the important thing here, supply and demand. But the beautiful thing is that you can fill the supply without having to be a crazy high level, because all of these quests are exceptionally easy for you to do. And this is the green skill line that you just want to make sure that you have if you are breaking down those sets. This is just overall good to have as well as you're breaking stuff down, because it just gives you more value for the stuff that you're getting. But if you are going to be breaking down a bunch of the Shardborn style, just make sure you pick this bad boy up. And if you're curious how to price check the items that you are getting, use the description below because I have 2 amazing price checkers. One's really good for console, one's really good for PC. But I wanted to search these because I wanted to break down a couple things. One, you'll notice that some blues are not as expensive as greens. And this confuses a lot of players because blue is rarer than green, right? But the problem is that how many of you are willing to pay a lot of money for a cup versus how many of you would be more willing to pay more money for a gigantic stone doorway that you could use to build a castle in your home? So you can start to see, perhaps the doorways, and it's more based on the appearance of an item that's going to determine the value of the item. Now, usually ZeniMax, creates cooler looking ones that are purple, or legendary, that way that those are the ones that are worth more, but it's not always a clear-cut science. So I wanted to use this as an example. Also, half of these can currently be picked up off of cabinets, so I wanted to quickly show you guys where you guys can also farm the other portion of these Colovium motifs, because they added new motifs to the daily quest there. So if you're getting any of the praxises from there, they're likely worth more because they're new, but I'll show you guys the old farming method as well. With just some other kind of quick pointers here. If you're getting things that are big, like doorways, walls, pillars, those are usually the ones that you want to sell and that are worth the most just because they are building blocks. People will literally build out an entire home using these bad boys. But overall, anything that you get, I would price check. And then if you get a bunch of them, because the next method I'll show you can get tons of these, I would join either a Mournhold trader for a limited period of time to sell your items regardless of your level, or look for some free traders in places like Alinor inside of Somerset. Maybe if there's a free trader inside of Eldenroot or Rayrest, you might be able to snag one in there. Other options that are good are Daggerfall. They've got some good guild trader traffic there as well. Let's talk about the second method. And the second, more kind of old gold method, because this came out with the Gold Road update, is actually farming inside of the Weald area near this inn. So the reason that why you want to farm this inn is actually relatively simple, and you're going to see right away. You go in here and you are surrounded by dressers, which is like the holy mecca of people who like to farm furnishing plans, because dressers have a really good chance to give you furnishing plans, and there's quite a few of them in this small nugget of space. And then you can back out. See, there's no cuts here. Just gonna wait. We're gonna flip around, and boom, you can now open them all again. Which is just overall a great method and way for you to potentially roll for furnishing plans. And also, apparently, there's a lead that you could get from here as well, which is just overall very helpful. While we're talking about this and kind of showing it off here, let's talk about some quick things to know. Azander is a great companion to do this with because he gets a bonus chance from any dresser or other items similar that you open to get one of his little rewards pouches, which is just overall really good. I got one doing this method earlier with him that I'll show you as soon as we step out here to reset. You can also see that we just got a blueprint right there as we were leaving. So let's talk about some of the pieces. So he gives you resource portfolios, which he gave us one earlier. These have no cooldown. And it gave us a blacksmithing survey, which is just free profit. And then he gave us something we could sell to a merchant, which is also just free profit. And while this is not one of the new furnishing plans, it's to give us a good kind of time to talk about some ways that you can kind of min-max what you're doing. So firstly, it's important to note that if you get a green plan, your character is on a cooldown. Every furnishing plan, bar the white ones, put you on a cooldown. The green ones will put you on a 10-minute character cooldown, meaning for 10 minutes you can open up dressers. You're probably just going to get lockpicks, maybe leads, and some other mumbo-jumbo, but not furnishing plans. Also important to note too, recipes don't seem to affect this at all. So if you're getting green recipes, don't even worry about that. We're only focused on the actual furnishing plans. Then if you get a blue one, you're likely on a character cooldown. Again, character cooldown for 30 minutes. And then if purples is between 45 minutes and an hour. So the way to actually min-max this is relatively simple. Is if you notice the word I was emphasizing there was character cooldown. You just walk all your characters over here from this way shrine, walk them in from the east, and boom, you could just easily cycle them in and out repeatedly and do this method as many times as you want to get furnishing plans. Make sure that you note any Colovian ones that you get. You will also get other furnishing plans, like the Orcish one I just got is probably worth, maybe a few thousand, like 1 to 5. But the majority of those will be relatively cheap. But the Colovian ones minimum are usually between 20 and 50, even if it's one of the more common ones. So it's definitely worth doing if you're interested. And the nice thing again is you can do this at any level. This also can be done with all of the other characters that you have that may be level 10, 5, 3. They just come out of tutorial zone. Run them over here. Obviously, you're going to have to do Azander's quest multiple times if you don't have it done already, but he's more of an icing on the cake type thing more than a necessity. But I would definitely make sure, if you are able to, grab the 10% chance to find a second furnishing plan whenever you find a normal furnishing plan in the overworld. This is just overall very helpful. Awkwardly too, I also really like the Treasure Hunter perk. I don't think it actually affects this necessarily, but I feel like it's just nice to have. I feel like it does give you better rewards outside of just treasure chests, but that's just a conspiracy theory. But if you're going this way on your green plans, you might as well grab them both, but it's up to you. The next thing is also able to be done anytime ever, and that is your endeavors. Now, this is important. Every day you can do a total of 3 daily endeavors, and every week you can do a total of 1 weekly endeavor. But you'll notice that you actually can do 5. So this is important because every other day for Seals of Endeavors, they are offering Undaunted keys for doing a daily dungeon. But here's where you have to be careful, is if you've already done 3 of these already, that 4th one cannot be done to gain the Undaunted key. So what you need to make sure that you're doing is that you're checking your Seals of Endeavors every day and doing the Undaunted key ones first, because Undaunted keys is probably one of the most valuable currencies to have. And even with them buffing some of the pledges, they're also cost more to get the curated drops from the shoulders. So make sure that you're checking your Seals of Endeavors every day, because if you're like me, you're going to naturally just complete some of this stuff. You may naturally just kill 15 skeletons because you walked into a graveyard during a rave, That's just going to happen. And so you're going to want to make sure that you're checking this every day, especially until the 24th, because that's when the Undaunted Celebration event ends. But even afterwards, we still have had a mixture of both housing rewards and Undaunted Celebration event rewards. Sometimes, too, you can get other things such as transmute crystals, so it's important to note that as well. And you can see every day, each one of these just gives you 15 Seals of Endeavors. It's kind of a bit of a generic day, but definitely make sure the first thing you do is check this every single day when you log in. So to wrap us off, let's break down how the Undaunted Celebration rewards boxes work, because this is an important concept to understand. So anytime you complete a dungeon, you're going to get Undaunted box, ... Fungal Grotto. Or if, let's say, you did March of Sacrifice, Undaunted box, March of Sacrifice. Boom. Why am I doing Fungal Grotto, you may be saying? And that is because it is the fastest dungeons. I'll have a posted speedrun overlay once I show the rewards, and we continue to talk about it a little bit more. But let's break down the actual rewards and show off some of them as we kind of go. You can see that there's a wide range of things here, including things like furnishings that sell decently well. You can get rare motif styles, which is just very helpful. You can see that there's the old Opal Engine Guardian pages, as well as Opal pages in general. Again, we're getting more Opal pages, more really good high-level motifs. We have an Undaunted keys, which, you know me, I don't want to do PvE dungeons and pledges. If I can get Undaunted keys just by farming repeatable content that's also giving me rewards like style pages that I can sell, that is a win-win. And this is also pretty good for new players as well, because again, you're going to be getting all of this stuff, and this is all unleveled. So for example, let's say you get Crimson Oath Sword. Let's say you get this reward box right here. Let's say you're CP 105, right? This Belt of Viper would be CP 105. So in theory, that's probably worthless. You're going to have to just deconstruct it, bind it to your sticker book, whatever. But you can still sell this Opal Engine Guardian's bow and this Crimson Oath Swords, and you can sell this furnishing. That is why this method is so good. It builds up those harder to get resources like Undaunted keys, but you also have a chance to get style pages and motif pages. And the only real notable difference is that if it's a motif, it's probably worth more the higher number it is, because that just means it's been out for less time. It's not an exact science, but it's definitely one that I kind of wanted to highlight here. But you can see that we are getting just consistent amounts of these, and the average box run was taking me 3 minutes. So you could see these rewards were coming in intervals of 3 minutes. Not just that, we were also completing our daily Seals of Endeavors. We were getting our 2 event tickets because every single time you complete your first dungeon every day. So on Monday, you do your first daily dungeon, 2 event tickets. On Tuesday, you do your first daily dungeon, you get an event tickets. You could do any dungeon, obviously, but we were doing Fungal Grotto 1. If you're interested in getting into doing this, all you need to do is head on down to the Dungeon Finder, and you can queue specific dungeons. You can also queue multiple dungeons. Let's say I was like, you know what, I'll do Fungal Grotto if anybody's doing a speed run there, whatever. But I also really want that set from Wayrest Sewer. So I'm going to queue for both of them. And then if I get into one, I'll farm the one. If not, I'll get into the other one. And the reason why Fungal Grotto 1 is so good is that you only have to kill 2 total bosses. But I will warn you guys, because I know a lot of you are queuing into your random daily dungeon and you're getting Fungal Grotto because everybody, like myself, is queuing into it. I try to take the time to explain in chat like what's going on with my keyboard, like this is what's going on, don't panic. I promise we're just running this very specifically because you only have to kill 2 bosses in there to complete it, which means that it is the fastest dungeon in the game. There's a boss literally right in front of a door that comes down, and when you kill him, the door swings open. And then you can skip the other final bosses, except for the actual final boss, because you definitely want to kill that one, by just jumping into the river and then jumping up next to his bridge, and you can just get up that way. So there's so many cool skips in this dungeon that it just makes farming it so consistent. But some other things that I want to note too is that obviously as we farm these dungeons, you're going to get a curated drop piece. So every time you kill a boss in a dungeon, you're guaranteed to get a sticker book item that you don't have from that dungeon. But there's some catches. The first one is that everything except the final boss gives you armor. So let's say there's 5 bosses, in a dungeon, right? 4 of those bosses, all but the final one, are going to give you armor pieces. So let's say there's 3 sets, obviously. You might get boots of set 1, legs of set 2, chests of set 3, helmets of set 1. And then you kill the final boss, he might give you a lightning staff of set 1. He can only give you weapons and jewelry. So he doesn't give you any armor pieces, just weapons and jewelry. What's nice though is that as you do these dungeons, you're also getting these boxes that we talked about. Every box gives you a set piece from that dungeon. It's non-curated, but if you're farming a set from scratch, you're still filling out that sticker book at a faster rate, which just makes this overall significantly faster for yourself. I did do a video where I broke down all of the best dungeon sets in the game. And I know that we did well on that because we did a 2-hour live stream where we brainstormed every single set. Is it good for healing? Is it good for solo? Is it good for PvP? Is it good for DPS? Is it good for tanking? It is only dungeon sets, not trial sets, and it's not monster sets. It's only those sets that you actually get for your 5 pieces because the monster sets are going to be done separately and they need to be broken down based on PvE versus PvP and their 1-piece versus their 2-piece utilization. But these are all 5-piece dungeon sets that you may want to farm during this event. Also to note too that during this actual jumping up phase, as you get to the final boss and you're about to jump up next to the bridge component, it's actually better if you jump about a foot away in the water. So like you don't want to hump the wall. You want to be about a foot away from the wall, jump up, and then just spam the A button until you're over the bridge. But overall, this is a great time to farm tons of different things. If you want to try to farm gold, motif pages, if you want to get new styles that you don't have, if you want to get new motifs that you don't have, if you want to just level up by farming random daily dungeons, I will just warn you guys that there are a lot of people who are speed running dungeons right now because they just want to get there as fast as possible. And I know that can be off-putting, but I promise that most players will still explain in group chat. If you just follow them, they'll be able to take you through the mechanics and just try to mimic what they're doing as best as possible. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. Now, this is a bit of a special offer here, once in a lifetime for this week during this event. I'm actually going to be streaming or doing off-stream farming with you guys. I want to help you guys get your dungeon sets that you need, and what better way than getting 2 drops from a dungeon than by getting other people to help you farm a dungeon set that you don't currently have. When I polled my audience, 40% of you have never completed a veteran dungeon, and so we are going to try to help you guys get whatever dungeon sets that you need. So in the Discord, I have opened up a channel dedicated to this concept. I'm going to be streaming later today, probably around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to go through and farm those 5P sets with you guys. There are some of you that also want monster sets. So monster sets, we're going to probably farm off stream just because I'll have to be on mic with you guys explaining different mechanics, because this is the ones so far that people need help with are Zons and Balorgs, and I don't want to try to explain the mechanics and stuff while streaming at the same time because it might get a little bit confusing and a little bit chaotic. But we're going to dedicate time every single day this week to farming with you guys for 5P sets, and we're also going to dedicate time to get you guys monster sets that you guys need. In the meantime, while you're not farming with me or watching me or liking and subscribing on this channel, just put some helpful comments in the comments below. Let people know what you think that they should be farming during this event and what you thought about this video was helpful, because this is a bit of a different video, but I'm excited to see you guys here later tonight, and we'll see what we can help farm for you guys and get completed in that sticker books of yours. I guess I should also probably note, too, that I play on Xbox NA, so any Xbox NA player is welcome. Again, we're going to do the sticker book 5 pieces first tonight, and then late tonight off stream, we're going to try to do some of those monster set runs, and then we're going to try to do this every single day this week. As long as my work schedule is not too crazy, we might be able to actually stream every single day, just doing a couple dungeons, helping people complete their sticker books, and then hopefully that will help make this whole process easier for everybody. And it gives me, free content. So, it's a win all around. It gives me something to do, because sometimes I'm like, oh, what video should I make today? And it's like, well, it just helps people get the sticker book, So it's a win all around, and I hope to catch you guys there. So thank you guys so much again for watching. As always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do to enter is leave a comment in the comments below. Tell me what was most helpful about this video, or what you're most excited about coming up here, or active things that are going on. Second thing is just be subscribed, and for 2 additional entries, follow both on Twitch and Twitter. They're both linked below. And the third thing is look for a hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to comment that word, you will win. There's 1 word per month. If you can find it first, you win. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.